Welcome to Bali. Located between the Indian Ocean and the Indonesian archipelago, this island stands out with its diverse blend of turquoise beaches, volcanoes, terraced rice fields, and ancient temples, creating a landscape that is both majestic and harmonious, ideal for both relaxation and exploration. Hidden within this scenery is a distinctive Hindu culture, preserved for hundreds of years through more than 10,000 temples of all sizes, along with the Subak irrigation system, deeply tied to spiritual beliefs and recognized by UNESCO. Local culture is not only reflected in architecture or festivals, but also in everyday life, in the way people connect with nature and the spiritual world. From this culturally rich land, the journey begins on a secluded island where a rare sense of untouched beauty still remains within Bali. Nusa Penida, untouched beauty in the ocean. Located to the southeast of Bali, Nusa Penida is an island within Bali province, yet completely separated from the mainland by the Batur Strait. It was once considered an isolated land, even used as a place of exile during the Kelungkung Kingdom. This isolation slowed urban development, but preserved its ecosystems and landscapes in an almost untouched state to this day. The most iconic highlight of Nusa Penida is Kelungkung Beach, where a dramatic cliff juts out into the ocean, resembling the spine of a giant dinosaur. From above, the turquoise waters combined with a narrow strip of white sand create a scene that is both majestic and visually striking. Nearby, Broken Beach with its natural stone arch and Angel's Billabong, a crystal-clear tidal pool nestled among rock formations, stand as clear evidence of thousands of years of geological erosion. Getting around the island is mainly done by motorbike or car, as the terrain is rugged with steep and narrow roads. Yet this very journey enhances the sense of exploration, as every turn reveals a completely new perspective. Nusa Penida is deeply rooted in Balinese Hindu beliefs, highlighted by Goa Giri Putri Temple located inside a cave where locals come to pray. Visitors are encouraged to respect the environment, minimize their impact on the landscape, and behave appropriately within the island's spiritual culture. As the dramatic coastal cliffs fade away, the scenery transitions into deeper shades of green from forests and inland landscapes. Ubud, the cultural heart of Bali. Located in the central part of the island, within Jayar Regency, situated on higher terrain compared to the coastal areas, surrounded by tropical forests, rivers, and lush terraced rice fields. From the early 20th century, under royal patronage, Ubud developed into the artistic center of Bali, bringing together painters, craftsmen, and dancers. The fusion of local and Western cultures has created a distinctive creative space with art galleries, workshops, art fair, markets. One of the most notable experiences is the sacred monkey forest, a sacred forest closely tied to the spiritual life of the local people. Here, groups of monkeys live freely and become an essential part of the travel experience. They move naturally and interact directly with visitors. This active and unpredictable presence makes the experience more dynamic, where visitors not only observe but also adapt to their behavior. From the artistic rhythm and tranquility of Ubud, the journey continues toward deeper spiritual spaces. Lempuyang Temple, the gateway to heaven. Situated on the slopes of Mount Lempuyang in eastern Bali, at an altitude of about 1,175 meters above sea level. This temple is not only a famous tourist destination, but also holds a significant role in Balinese Hindu belief, regarded as one of the 6 sanctuaries that maintain the island's spiritual balance. Lempuyang Temple is closely tied to the spread of Hinduism in Bali. The complex actually consists of multiple temples stretching along the mountainside, and to reach the highest point, visitors must climb more than 1,700 steps, a journey that is both physically demanding and spiritually purifying. The most iconic highlight is the stone Heaven's Gate, which frames a breathtaking view of Mount Agung in the distance. Visitors often queue to capture this perfect shot. Yet beyond a simple photo, the moment carries a sacred feeling, standing between sky, mountains, and clouds. As a sacred site, strict rules must be followed, including wearing a sarong, maintaining respectful behavior, and avoiding noise. The Balinese believe that only those with a pure mind can reach the highest temple areas. And standing here, can you feel the stillness within yourself? From the quiet spirituality of the temple, the journey shifts toward a more powerful and expansive force of nature. Mount Batur, a sunrise trek on a volcano. Located in northeastern Bali at an altitude of about 1,717 meters, Mount Batur is the result of volcanic activity over tens of thousands of years, featuring a vast caldera and a lake formed within it. Thanks to its unique geological structure, the area was recognized as a UNESCO Global Geopark in 2012. Mount Batur is covered with layers of dark volcanic rock from past eruptions, interspersed with patches of green forest slowly reclaiming the land. At its base lies Lake Batur, a large body of water within the ancient crater, whose calm surface reflects the sky and surrounding mountains. As the sun rises, light spreads across the sea of clouds and the lake below, creating a scene that is both majestic and deeply rewarding, making Mount Batur one of Bali's most popular trekking destinations. The journey begins very early, usually around 2 to 3 a.m. Visitors trek in the dark, guided only by flashlights and local guides leading the way. For the Balinese, Batur is the second most sacred mountain after Mount Agung. Uluwatu Temple, the cliffside sanctuary above the ocean. Built on a cliff approximately 70 meters high overlooking the Indian Ocean, this temple is closely associated with the Hindu priest Dang Hyang Narartha, who played a key role in spreading the religion across Bali. It is not only a place of worship, but also one of the island's guardian temples, believed to maintain spiritual balance. The most distinctive feature of Uluwatu lies in its dramatic cliffside landscape. Narrow pathways run along the edge, offering panoramic views of the deep blue ocean below, where powerful waves crash continuously against the rocks, creating a raw and dynamic atmosphere. Surrounding the temple is a small forest inhabited by hundreds of long-tailed monkeys. These guardians are playful and often approach visitors, sometimes taking items such as glasses, hats, or phones. For this reason, visitors are guided to wear sarongs properly and reminded to secure their belongings. One of the most memorable experiences here is watching the kikak dance at sunset. This traditional performance features dozens of performers sitting in a circle, chanting rhythmically without musical instruments, recreating stories from Hindu epics. As the intensity of the ocean and cliffs gradually softens, a more peaceful landscape begins to unfold. Tegallalang Rice Terrace. Located in Janyar Regency, about 10 to 15 kilometers north of Ubud, this area is easily accessible and often included in travel itineraries, allowing visitors to experience Bali's iconic rice terraces without traveling too far. Tegallalang is known for its layered rice fields that curve gracefully along the hillsides, forming soft geometric patterns. The irrigation system operates under the traditional Subak method recognized by UNESCO, which reflects not only agricultural techniques, but also a philosophy of harmony between humans, nature, and spirituality. Visitors can walk along narrow paths between the terraces, Experience the famous Bali swing with panoramic views, and enjoy coffee from elevated viewpoints overlooking the lush valley below. Along the way, you may encounter local farmers carrying baskets of rice or fresh grass on their shoulders. They are friendly and often happy to take photos with visitors. Travelers are encouraged to stay on designated paths, avoid stepping on crops, and support the locals with small contributions. Among these green layers and slow rhythms, if you could return, would you choose a quiet morning or a golden sunset to experience it fully? From the layered green landscape, the scene shifts toward the vast ocean once again, where a temple stands between nature and belief.
Tanah Lot, the temple between sea and waves. Located in Baraban village, Tabanan Regency, about 20 kilometers northwest of Kuta. This temple was built in the 16th century by the priest Dang Hyang Nirartha. It stands on a rocky islet formed by centuries of ocean erosion, creating a dramatic and isolated setting in the sea. The scenery here changes throughout the day. During low tide, visitors can walk close to the temple, but when the tide rises, the rock becomes a separate island surrounded entirely by water. The most iconic moment occurs at sunset, when golden light spreads across the ocean, highlighting the silhouette of the temple against the sky, one of Bali's most recognizable views. Due to its sacred nature, access to the inner temple is restricted to worshippers. Locals also believe that sacred sea snakes guard the base of the temple, adding a mystical layer to the experience. The most important festival here is Tegallalang, held every 210 days, when thousands of locals dressed in traditional attire bring offerings to the temple to honor the sea gods. As the sunset fades over the ocean, the landscape transitions into the deep greens of Bali's northern forests. Sekumpul Waterfall, hidden beauty in Bali's deep jungle. Located in Sekumpul village, Tegallalang Regency. This is not a single waterfall, but a cluster of 7 falls cascading from heights of over 80 meters, forming a massive curtain of water deep within a valley. The name Sekumpul means group in the local language. The waterfalls are surrounded by steep cliffs covered in moss and ancient ferns, creating an atmosphere reminiscent of a prehistoric jungle. Reaching the falls requires trekking through steep paths, stone steps, and even crossing small streams. Though physically demanding, the journey enhances the sense of exploration, drawing visitors deeper into untouched nature. Unlike more crowded destinations, Sekumpul remains relatively quiet and less commercialized, offering a more personal and immersive experience for those seeking connection with nature. The area is closely tied to local communities who live and farm here, preserving the natural environment. Visitors are encouraged to travel with local guides for both safety and deeper understanding. The rushing sound of waterfalls gradually fades, giving way to the calm surface of a lake and cool mountain air. Ulun Danu Baratan Temple, the temple on a tranquil lake. Nestled beside Lake Baratan at an altitude of over 1,200 meters, this temple blends seamlessly with nature in an atmosphere of near-complete serenity, often surrounded by morning mist. Built in the 17th century to honor Dewi Danu, the goddess of water, the temple is closely tied to Bali's agricultural life, particularly the island-wide Subak irrigation system. Its most iconic feature is the 11-tiered Meru Tower reflected on the lake's surface. When water levels rise, the temple appears to float gently on the lake, creating a striking visual contrast between dark thatched roofs, blue water, and surrounding mountains. Visitors can rent traditional boats or swan-shaped paddle boats to explore the lake and admire the temple from unique perspectives. As an important spiritual site, respectful attire and behavior are required. Rituals such as Dewa Yajna are still regularly performed, reflecting the deep connection between people and nature. A modern resort landscape begins to emerge, bringing the journey toward a relaxing conclusion. Nusa Dua, a luxury coastal retreat. Located in southern Bali, Nusa Dua is a carefully planned luxury resort area with modern infrastructure and a controlled environment, just 20 to 30 minutes from Ngurah Rai International Airport. Developed in the 1970s by the Indonesian government, Nusa Dua represents a more upscale and curated tourism model, contrasting with the cultural and natural character of areas like Ubud or Uluwatu. The area features pristine beaches with soft white sand and calm turquoise waters protected by coral reefs, making it ideal for swimming, paddleboarding, or relaxing by the shore. Rather than exploration, the focus here is on comfort, with luxury resorts, spas, golf courses, and beachfront restaurants. Despite its modern feel, Nusa Dua still offers cultural highlights such as water blow, where waves crash dramatically against cliffs, and traditional performances held within resort spaces. Nusa Dua is not a place for discovery, but a final stop to unwind, reflect, and complete the Bali journey.
Our journey through Bali comes to a close, yet the emotions this island leaves behind will linger for a long time. From sacred temples high in the mountains, to lush rice terraces, deep blue seas, and glowing sunsets together, they form a landscape both powerful and deeply serene. Perhaps what stays with you is not just the scenery, but the moments when you slowed down and truly felt the journey. Thank you for staying with us until the end. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys ahead. And until next time, see you on the road.